Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We've got a lot to unpack today, including a Blockbuster trade rumor that could change everything for America's team. Let's dive right in with a bombshell that's got everyone talking. An NFL insider has urged the Dallas Cowboys to make a play for New Orleans Saints superstar running back Alvin Kamara. Now, I know what you're thinking, Kamara in a Cowboys uniform? Is this for real? Well, folks, let's break it down. Alvin Kamara is undoubtedly one of the most dynamic playmakers in the league. His versatility as both a runner and a receiver out of the backfield is unmatched. Just imagine him lining up alongside Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the rest of that star-studded offense. It's enough to make any defensive coordinator lose sleep. The insider argues that Kamara could be the missing piece that puts Dallas over the top. With his ability to create mismatches and make plays in space, he could add a whole new dimension to Kellen Moore's offense. Plus, let's not forget that the Cowboys have had their share of issues in the running game lately. Ezekiel Elliott isn't the same dominant force he once was, and while Tony Pollard has shown flashes, he hasn't proven he can carry the load full-time. But here's where we need to pump the brakes a bit. As exciting as the idea of Kamara in a Cowboys jersey might be, there are some major hurdles to clear. First and foremost, the Saints aren't just going to give away their franchise player. The asking price would be astronomical, likely including multiple first-round picks and maybe even a young star player or two. Then there's the matter of Kamara's contract. He signed a massive 5-year, $75 million extension in 2020, which would put a serious strain on the Cowboys' already tight salary cap situation. Jerry Jones has never been afraid to make a splash, but even he might balk at the financial gymnastics required to make this work. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, Kamara's pending legal issues. He's facing a felony battery charge stemming from an incident in Las Vegas last year. While the case is still ongoing, it's a significant risk factor that any team considering a trade would have to weigh carefully. So, as much as it pains me to say it, Cowboys fans, I think we need to file this one under fun to dream about, but not likely to happen. But don't worry, because I've got 3 more realistic moves that could still make a big impact for the boys this season. Move number 1. Trade for Carolina Panthers wide receiver D.J. Moore. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't we already have CeeDee Lamb? Yes, we do, and he's a stud. But imagine pairing him with another young, explosive receiver like Moore. The Panthers are in rebuild mode, and Moore could potentially be had for a second-round pick and maybe a player. He's got 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons under his belt, and would give Doc another reliable target to work with. The second move I think the Cowboys should consider is bringing in veteran cornerback Kyle Fuller. Our secondary has been a bit of a question mark, especially with injuries piling up. Fuller is still a free agent and could provide valuable depth and experience to our defensive backfield. He's a former All-Pro who knows how to make plays on the ball, and he wouldn't break the bank. And for our third realistic move, I think it's time for Dallas to address the offensive line. Let's face it, our once dominant front 5 isn't what it used to be. I'd love to see the Cowboys make a play for Washington Commanders guard Ereck Flowers. He's reinvented himself as a solid interior lineman after struggling at tackle early in his career, and he could help shore up our protection for Doc and create some holes in the running game. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but what about our own free agents? What about bringing back Randy Gregory or Leighton Vander Esch? And you're not wrong to ask those questions. The Cowboys definitely need to take care of their own before looking elsewhere. But the reality is, We might not be able to keep everyone, and we need to be open to bringing in new blood if we want to take that next step. Let's talk about the bigger picture for a moment. The NFC East is as wide open as it's been in years. The Eagles are rebuilding, the Giants are. Well, they're the Giants, and Washington is still trying to figure out its identity. This is our chance to assert dominance and make a real run at not just the division title, but a deep playoff push. But to do that, we need to be aggressive. We need to be willing to take some calculated risks. And that's where these potential moves come in. Whether it's adding a playmaker like D.J. Moore, shoring up our defense with Kyle Fuller, or bolstering our offensive line with Eric Flowers. Each of these moves addresses a specific need without mortgaging our entire future the way a Kamara trade might. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, but what about developing our own talent? What about the draft picks we've invested in? And you're absolutely right to be concerned about that. Player development is crucial, and we've got some young guys who deserve their shot. But the NFL is a win-now league, and sometimes you need to supplement your homegrown talent with proven commodities to get over the hump. Think back to when we brought in Amari Cooper a few years ago. That trade transformed our offense and helped Doc take the next step in his development. Sometimes, the right addition at the right time can have a ripple effect throughout the entire team. Of course, all of this is easier said than done. NFL trades aren't made in a vacuum, and there are a lot of moving parts to consider. Contract negotiations, salary cap implications, draft pick compensation, it's a complex dance that requires finesse and patience. But if there's one thing we know about Jerry Jones, it's that he's not afraid to make a splash. He wants to win, and he wants to win now. The question is, which move, or moves, will give the Cowboys the best chance to do that? As we wrap up, I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about these potential moves? Are you all in on the Kamara pipe dream? Or do you prefer the more realistic options we discussed? Maybe you've got some ideas of your own that you think could put us over the top. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a real discussion going. Because at the end of the day, that's what being a fan is all about: passionate debates about how to make our team the best it can be. Before we go, let's not forget that no matter what moves are made or not made, we've got a solid foundation to build on. Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. We've got playmakers on both sides of the ball and a coaching staff that's shown they can compete with the best. The future is bright in Dallas, folks. Whether it's through blockbuster trades, smart free agent signings, or developing our own talent, I believe we're on the cusp of something special. The pieces are there now, it's just a matter of putting them all together. So keep your eyes peeled, Cowboys fans. The trade deadline is approaching, and things could get interesting. Will we see Alvin Kamara in a star-spangled helmet? Probably not. But don't be surprised if the Cowboys make a move or two to bolster this roster for a playoff run.